Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today is going to be something I've not really done before. Basically it's a story time kind of video. The only thing is that I was trying to figure out how to make a story time video kind of fit on my channel that's more currently like beauty related. So I thought I would throw on a not very interesting mask and then just tell you a story. So these two masks that I have are from a box of 4 masks that I bought from the Face Shop. I'm choosing between Rice, which is a brightening mask, and Pomegranate, which is resilience and lifting. I think I'm going to use brightening, and this should just be a see-through kind of mask. I'm just gonna slather it on my face and then start telling you my story. Did I bring a mirror in here to put this on with? Of course not. So the reason that I'm actually doing this is I wanted to put out a video on Wednesday this week, but I am having a very busy week. So anything that I was thinking of was going to require sort of a bit more research, or even if I do a get ready with me, I kind of want to have a theme behind it, and get ready with me's can be a little bit of editing and stuff. This is just going to be sort of a chit-chatty thing, very little editing in here whatsoever. You know, just sort of like talking between friends. If I mess up what I'm saying, no need to edit it out unless it's something absolutely terrible. What I will edit out is I've got a little bit of a cough going on, and I'm not going to subject you to listening to that. Okay. So that is the mask. I'll just wipe this off my hands and then we'll get going. When I was in my first year of university, my parents decided to move to Singapore. We all didn't go, my parents went. They went for one of my parents' jobs, but my sister and I at the time were both in university. She's 2 years older than me, and we were both living away from home on campus, as neither of us were going to university in our hometown. So when our parents told us about it, it wasn't a huge impact on our lives because we weren't living at home. The only thing was that my parents sold the home they were living in, rented a little apartment so that, you know, on holiday weekends, things like that, my sister and I would have a place to go home to. But the summer after they had moved, at the end of summer, we decided that my sister and I were going to go and visit my parents. They lived in Singapore for 2.5 years, something around that. And the only time that my sister and I went to visit was this time in the summer. So I also apologize, it's gonna be, sun has decided to come out, which is awesome because it has been so dark here all week. So nice. So we decided to, and my parents decided to bring us to Singapore. While we were there, I had never been in Asia before, neither of my sisters. So we decided to, just one second. There we go. We decided to tour around while we were in the area. So we were in Singapore, we were in Bali, we were in Chiang Mai, and we were in Hong Kong. This story has to do with my time in Bali. But before I get to the story, let me back you up and tell you how this happened. There was a boy that I liked that I was kind of seeing in the summer before I went on this trip. And he had been a scuba diver. And when I mentioned I was going to Bali, he's talked about how Bali was the most amazing place to go scuba diving. And that's something I haven't done before. A very strong swimmer, very comfortable in the water, but I've never been snorkeling, I've never been scuba diving. And he was mentioning just how awesome it was, and me in my very impressionable 19-year-old mind thought, I'm gonna go to Bali, I am going to scuba dive, I'm going to impress this boy, and it's gonna be a whole thing. So, you know, we get to Bali, and the hotel that we're staying at has arranged for somebody to come take us somewhere where we can go scuba diving. So my poor, wonderful sister was dragged along in this adventure with me. She didn't really have much of an interest in it. I don't know if I talked her into it or if she just thought also it would be a fun thing to do. We knew nothing at all about scuba diving. And as the story goes along, you're going to understand why it probably would have been good if we knew some things that we should have, you know, understood about what to do before you scuba dive, like know anything about it. So Bali is an amazing place. There was a gentleman driver who picked us up to drive us to, you know, this beachfront area where we were going to scuba dive. Again, us knowing nothing about it, sort of bumping along the roads in this van. Being in Canada where there's just so much space and everything just seems so normal, Bali is like every square foot of the place has something interesting going on. It's just gorgeous and beautiful and amazing. We reach the beach where we are going to go scuba diving, and we are introduced to the folks who are going to take us diving. So both my sister and I are assigned a partner, a guide, who are both these very young Balinese boys. I'm 19 at the time, which means my sister must have been 21. These boys look like they were like 14 to 16-year-old age range, and they really knew what they were doing, but my sister and I didn't, and they knew a little bit of English, and there was, a vast language barrier between us. So my sister and I throw on the wetsuits, thinking this is what you do when you go scuba diving. And they say, yep, let's go. I think they taught us like maybe 5 like hand gestures to use for when we were underwater. Basically that if they, ask if we're okay, that we put our thumbs up to show we're okay. I think this meant I'm not getting any air. No, wait, this was okay because this means I want to go up. And I think they probably mined a couple of things about like plugging noses or what we were supposed to do, but not very much. And then we all jumped onto a outrigger canoe. I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of this to throw in, but basically it's just a canoe with like pontoons coming off of it almost, and then it had a motor on the back, so nobody was paddling, we were motoring along. So it was myself, my sister, these 2 boys, and a very, very old man working the motor at the back of the boat. And we are going out into the ocean, and I am getting so incredibly seasick. I get motion sick. I don't as much anymore, but I used to get motion sick incredibly easily. And I did not realize how sick I was going to get on this boat heading out to where we were diving, because it wasn't a huge boat. It was bopping all over the place on the ocean. And I was just thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna throw up. And we finally get to where it is that we are going to go diving. And I just think, good God, as long as I can get into the water, my stomach will calm down and I'll feel better. If you've ever been motion sick, you know that as soon as you get onto like flat land or out of the car or whatever it is, you just automatically feel so much better. And I thought, I'll jump in the water, I will be good. So I get into the water and our dive begins. And this is the point in the story when I'm going to pause and tell you that those of you who know anything about scuba diving are probably horrified. If you go diving, scuba diving, like I think snorkeling is fine to do if you have no background or experience in it. But if you go scuba diving, there are certain lessons you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to just throw on a tank and get in the water and go. It's dangerous. It should not be done this way. I understand that you should probably have like lessons in a pool first, or just a lot more than here's your wetsuit, here's your tank, here's your flippers, here's 3 hand gestures to communicate with each other, get in the canoe, away we go. But we did. So I get in, my guide and I get underwater a ways, and it was gorgeous. From what I remember of it, it was gorgeous. I also seem to remember us asking what happens if we run into a shark, and they both kind of laughed and then said they would just punch it in the nose, which doesn't seem like it's something that would actually be helpful. But I remember before I went diving thinking like, is this even something I want to do? I mean, I don't like touching fish, but somehow when you're actually in the water and swimming and there's these beautiful, colorful fish around you and you're sort of holding your hands out and they're swimming around your fingers and your hands, it doesn't feel intimidating in any way. It was gorgeous. It was absolutely amazing. I don't have a really great idea of how long I was underwater for, maybe 10 minutes, not a long time. And what I didn't realize, because being in Canada, I've mostly swum in pools, maybe some rivers and lakes, is there are currents underwater in the ocean. And I feel like I knew that in one part of my brain, but I did not know that those currents in the ocean would also continue to make me feel incredibly motion sick. And after a certain amount of time, it just really hit me that I'm gonna throw up. And I'm gonna throw up however far down I am in the ocean right now, with a regulator in my mouth that is letting me breathe. And if I throw up into the regulator, like, this isn't good. So I, you know, did the signal for going up as quickly as I could, and, you know, the guide is sort of bringing me up to the surface, and all I'm thinking in my head is my sister is going to laugh at me so much. Like, this was my idea. I wanted to do this so badly. I don't even know how long a dive is supposed to last for. Maybe 10 to 15 minutes is probably good. I guess I was thinking you would do it for like an hour or something like that. And I thought, oh God, I'm bailing on this after such a short period of time. She's going to bug me. She's going to laugh at me. It's just, so at the time though, I was just happy to get up to the top of the water, take the regulator out so I can start like breathing air, and was sick to my stomach, which is not that much fun when you are swimming in the water and then you are sick to your stomach. You throw up in the water. So my poor, lovely, sweet guide was holding onto the back of, you know, my suit or whatever it was he was holding onto, swimming me back to the boat so that he was sort of pulling me and I was being dragged backwards, so that if I was being sick, he was at least dragging me away from where I was being sick. So again, I'm thinking about my sister and all of what this is going to be. And I look and my sister is on the boat already. And I'm thinking, what's up with that? So I get back to the boat and get on. She's like, oh, thank God. She goes, I just got so motion sick underwater. She had the same experience I did, but even faster. And then poor her, because she was on the boat feeling more sick and she didn't get to go home until I came back again, while this poor young boy was rubbing her back as she threw up over the side of the boat. So not the gorgeous, safe, wonderful experience that we expected it to be. I have never been so thrilled in my entire life to get my feet back on solid ground again. And they were lovely, the people that were there. They were offering us more experiences, like, hey, maybe you would like to go parasailing. And we're like, no, I have done on this, like, I think we were in Bali for 4 days. It's like, we have done our adventure. We are going to relax and just sightsee and, you know, swim and do all the things that are not dangerous in any way for the rest of the time that we are here. Overall, beautiful vacation, amazing places I got to go, but I feel like the final little bookend of this story is that the boy was not impressed. In fact, we broke up as soon as I got back. Probably the moral of the story is don't do something you aren't super jazzed to do to impress somebody else. The secondary moral is don't do something without researching what you should do to make sure it's not dangerous before you do it. So that is my story time for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Do you like these kinds of things? I mean, I have other stories to tell. If you would like to hear them, let me know in the comments. Let me know whatever you feel like telling me. I do respond to all the comments that I get. I believe that is everything from me for today. I'm going to take this off. It's just sort of sticky and still wet right now. It's not a drying mask or anything like that. But the mask was not really the point of this video, the story was. So I'm gonna go take the mask off, get on with my busy day, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye.